Muaz ibn Jabal Raziullah Ta'ala anhu, when Mecca had fallen to the Muslims, he was made the governor of Yemen. And so the Holy Prophet appointed him that you take the charge of governorship of Yemen. Now Muaz Raziullah Ta'ala anhu, when he went to started his journey, he was on the horse. And he bade farewell to the Holy Prophet. And the Holy Prophet walked for some time with a little distance with Muaz ibn Jabal. And he said that, "Oh Muaz, maybe the next time you meet me on my grave." So tears rolled down Hazrat Muaz bin Jabal's cheeks. But the Holy Prophet said, "Don't worry. Inna awla an-nas biyal muttaqun wa man kanu wa haysu." The persons who are near to me and very dear to me are those who have consciousness of Allah, who have fear of Allah, whoever they may be and wherever they may be. And in the Holy Quran it is said, "Inna akramakum indallahi atqakum." The most honorable persons in the eyes of Allah are those who have this consciousness. And the Holy Prophet said, "Rasul hikmat makhafatun." The climax of wisdom is that you have fear of Allah, you have consciousness of Allah, and you abstain from all the sins. So this was the first thing that he said, that have consciousness of Allah. Second thing he said, وَالْقَوْلُ بِالْحَقِّ فِي الرِّزَى وَالسَّخَطِ. Always say the right thing, the truth, whether you are happy or angry, whether you are in prosperity or adversity. Don't take sides, be impartial. Whether even your friend confronts you or there is a relationship before you, but you see to Allah, you have to please Allah. You don't have to please your friend or your relative. You say the right word. And as said in Arabic, al-haqqu murrun, that the truth is very bitter. So be prepared when you make the right decision, you say the right word, you be righteous, then people will talk about it. That he has no regard for friendship, he has no regard for any relatives, what kind of a person is he? So be prepared for this kind of talk, but at least you will have a clear conscience that you are pleasing Allah, you are pleasing nobody else. So they say the truth, whether in adverse condition or in a prosperous condition, or whether you are happy or you are angry. The third thing he said was, وَالْقَسْطُ فِي الْغِنَى وَالْفَقْرِ. Be moderate, whether you are wealthy or whether you are in poverty. When a person is wealthy, he tries to spend here and there on functions, on ceremonies, on his friends, and he wants to throw away his money like that. The Quran, a word is said, يَقُولُ أَهْلَقْتُ مَالَ الْلُبَدَى. That a person boasts that I have spent so much on my friends and this. He's boasting, which is not a good attitude. So Allah, the Holy Prophet says, "Kulu washrabu wa la tusrifu." Yes, you eat, you drink, but don't be lavish, don't be extravagant. That is not seen as a good sign by Allah. Innal mubazzirina kanu ikhwana shayateen. Now, israf and tabzir, these are the two words in the Holy Quran. There's a difference between them. Israf is that there is a requirement, but you exceed your requirement. That is, you have to wear clothes, but you have so many clothes. You want to wear shoes, but you have 10 pairs of shoes. You have to eat, you have 7 to 8 dishes before you. So this is israf. He said, "Kulu washrabu wa la tusrifu." And the other thing is tabzir. Tabzir, where there is no requirement, and yet you spend just to show off the other. So that is tabzir. And Allah says, "Innal mubazzirina kanu ikhwana shayateen." Those who are spending just to show off, and they do not even have any requirement for that, any need for that, they are certainly the brothers of the shaitan. So he said, be moderate, whether you are wealthy or whether you are in poverty. In a poverty, a person tends to be miser. He even refrains from fulfilling the basic needs of his children and his wife, because he thinks, I have little money, so he tends to be a little miser. Allah says, you have trust in Allah, be moderate, don't have to lead a very extravagant life, but at least fulfill the basic needs of your kith and kin. The three things that are ruining a person, his character, the first thing, وَهَوَى مُتَّبَعٌ, that you follow your desires, internal desires. The nafs inside, إِنَّ النَّفْسَ لَأَمَارَةٌ بِالسُّوءِ, the nafs always raises you to every evil, every wrongdoing. And if a person is following his nafs, that means that he's following his desires. And the nafs, it is deaf and blind. It does not differentiate between right and wrong. It does not differentiate between halal and haram. It says that my desire should be fulfilled, no matter how. I don't know whether you want to please Allah, you have to please me first. So this is nafs. So if a person is following his nafs, that means he has a back to his Allah and he has his face towards the nafs. Sheikh Sadi, rahmatullah alayh, a very pious person, very righteous person, he says in Persian, nafs ma hum kam taras Firaun means, lekin Ira'an means, that my nafs is not less than a Firaun. Because Firaun had the power and he said, Ana Rabbukumul A'la. And this nafs inside is no less than Firaun. And it says that on this body, which weighs almost 2.5 months, I will have my power over it. And you have to subject to my desires. And you have to fulfill my desire. So it's like a Firaun sitting inside and he says, you have to fulfill my desires. That is what Firaun said. So nafs ma hum kam taras Firaun means, lekin Ira'an means. If person always follows his nafs, then his nafs becomes his God. And the Quran says to Holy Prophet, أَرَأَيْتَ مَنِ اتَّخَذَ إِلَهَهُ هَوَاهُ أَفَأَنْتَ تَكُونُ عَلَيْهِ وَكِيلًا. O Prophet, have you seen that person who makes his desires as worthy of worship? He is following his nafs. He is making ma'bud out of his nafs. أَفَأَنْتَ تَكُونُ عَلَيْهِ وَكِيلًا. Will you talk for him? Will you make recommendations for him on the day of judgment? Allah asks the Prophet, will you, when he has made his nafs as his ma'bud? So the Prophet says, don't follow your nafs. Follow Allah's commands. The second thing he said that can destroy you was shuhum muta'am. That you follow your greediness. Everybody has a greediness, or he tends to be miser. Both the translations have been given. Shuh means greediness or even miser. And a person who is greedy, he tends to hoard the wealth. And when he tends to hold the wealth, he is also miser. He doesn't want to give it to anybody. So a greedy person is also a miser person. So it has both the meaning. So don't follow your greediness, because a person inside who follows his nafs, he tends to be greedy. He wants to have wealth, he wants to have fame, he wants to have power of influence, he wants to have all the jewelries, the diamonds, the gold and everything, the cars and women, and beautiful horses and beautiful cattle farming. He wants to have all the riches in the world. So this is greediness. And this makes a person very hard-hearted. Then he has no soft corner for the poor and the needy, because he is hoarding wealth. He doesn't want to give it away. So he becomes hard-hearted. And that's how he closes the doors of guidance on him. He closes the doors of guidance on himself. And that ruins his character. There's a hadith by the Holy Prophet regarding this greediness. The Prophet says, and Ka'b ibn Malik Rasulullah Ta'ala anhu says, that the Prophet once said, Ma za'ibani ja'ani ursila fi ghanami bi afsada laha. Two hungry wolves, if they attack a herd of sheep, they will not bring so much destruction. Min hirsil mar'i ala al-mal wa sharf al-din. Then the greediness of one's wealth and the greediness of a high status will ruin his deen. So that's the amount of destruction that even two wolves, if they go to the herd of sheep, they cannot make that much destruction, the amount of destruction that a person, a greedy person, and having the lust for his high ranking will destroy his character and his deen. And the last of the things that he says is, وَإِجَابُ الْمَرِّ بِنَفْسِهِ, to be proud and arrogant, haughty. And he says, وَهِيَ أَشَدُّهُ, out of these three destructive things, this is the worst of them. This is the strongest of them. That a person becomes arrogant and haughty, it's a behavior, it's an attitude. His talk will be that of haughtiness. He will be boasting. I did this, I did that. Oh, you did nothing. Look at me. I did all this thing. This is his talk. This is the talk of a person who has arrogance, who has haughtiness. Then he has a stiffness of the neck. Even his gait and walk, you can make out that he has a different walk than he has no humbleness. So he has a different walk, and his attitude towards others is also telling that he is proud from inside. He may wave the people off from him. Okay, yes. He doesn't want the people to come near him. And he waves them. All right. You stay where you are. And if people come near to him, he shouts at them. He scolds them. He looks down upon them. And he injures their honor. The Holy Prophet said, لَنْ يَدْخُلُ الْجَنَّةَ مَنْ كَانَ فِي قَلْبِهِ مِثْقَالُ حَبَّةٍ مِنَ الْكِبْرِ. Surely that person will never enter the paradise even if he has a grain of kibr inside his heart. A grain of kibr. He will not enter the paradise. So he said, hey, ashadduhu. This is the worst of these things. And when he was asked, the Holy Prophet, what is kibr? A person said, if a person wears, a companion said, O Prophet, if a person wears good clothes, if a person wears new shoes, is that kibr? He said, no, this is not kibr. Inna Allah jamilun wa yuhibbul jamal. Surely Allah is beautiful and He likes beautiful things. If you have a good dress, if you have a good new shoes, and you are happy about it, that is not kibr. Kibr is al-kibru batarul haqqi wa ghamtum nas. Kibr is that you reject the truth and you look down upon the people. Think they are no match to me. They cannot sit by my side. They are down. You look down upon the people and you reject the truth. You come across truth. It gets into your heart that he is saying the right thing. But because of your selfishness, because of your self-interest, you reject it. No, I can't accept it. Whereas you know that is the truth. So a person rejecting the truth and looking down upon the people, that is what is kibr. And may Allah save us from these disastrous things and give us the right direction and be on the right path and give us the courage that we are steadfast by it. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillah.